What's up? You do the countdown, do the clickety clickety clack. Um, what's up, everybody? We are we are live. Let me see. We show up live in the notifications. Oh yeah, I need to find us. hmm
You've already started?
Yeah, I just started it right now.
Oh.
So we live. We live. What's good, everybody out there in the internet
You've already
streets?
started?
Yeah, I just started it right now. You hear that feedback?
We
That's
live. We live.
that's
What's good,
us live.
everybody out there in the internet?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody join us. Comments. This is our first time going live. So it's gonna look real inexperienced, but that's the beauty of live. You understand me? That's the beauty of live. Um, yeah. We ready with our
Ready.
countdown?
Yep.
Gonna do this countdown real quick for our cameras. 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah. Yes, man. We are live. What is up, everybody out there in the internet streets? Welcome. If you're watching us live for the first time, hello. We are doing our first live podcast today. We got a great topic. That's right. We got to get the horns. We get all that. Yeah. What a cat says, bangers, out 2022. Yeah, shout out to Kevin. Okay. But yeah. Welcome everybody. And as you can read if you're looking, but those listening, we are your awesome co-hosts. My name is Don Dees, and I'm with my talented, lovely sister.
Sierra Monique.
Yes, that's right. See, and see that this is how you could tell when you're hearing it. This is how you could tell that we're different because we are like distracted by seeing ourselves like little children who are easily distracted. But it's okay. We'll get used to it. With time, and then we'll be totally fine. It'll be just normal, natural, and all that. But for now, you're gonna have to deal with us being distracted by seeing ourselves. It's like when those was it like the chimpanzees? They showed them themselves in the mirror, and there was like, whoa, why is there another monkey here? Why is he copying me?
Right.
Yes. But ours is going the opposite of ourselves. So anyhow, yeah, we are in our series doing the book review, the discussion, reflections, all of that on Marriage Ain't for Punks by author Calvin Roberson. This book is good, man.
Yeah.
We recorded something else, but you're gonna get that later. Because the technology demons have been running roughshod over that episode. So we're gonna work it out, and we're going to get that one to you. But today we are talking about communication, and our academic professor Tierra Monique is going to be breaking down for us, breaking it down, and I will chime in when I have some good stuff to say. I did like these chapters. I thought they were actually very. Everything in this book so far has been really practical, but I thought these chapters were extremely practical because they kind of broke down like very important things that you don't think about in terms of communication. I was a communication major in undergrad, so I did recognize some of these ideas. But he broke it down with nice, just normal layman's terms, and all these little things that contribute to the way we communicate that we don't even think about. Like a lot of it is nonverbal. Verbal is like I don't know, 25% of it. But
Yeah.
there's so much else that goes into it. So I can't wait to get into the discussion, and I'll jump in when I see some things. But what we're going to do beforehand, before we get into our conversation, usually we do like a check-in, what's new with you. But because it's our episode before Mother's Day, we are going to take a little moment to shout out our moms, with a little reflection. It's a nice thought or something
Yeah.
to reflect and just show that love to our moms. Did you have a
Sure.
reflection? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So hello, mother. Hey, mom. But no. So I was raised by my mom and my grandma.
Mm,
My maternal grandmother, and I've had so many memories, good and of course, you being raised up. Sometimes your negative memories are the ones where you were getting spanked, and you had to go out
mm,
and go outside and go pick your own switch.
Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. I remember that.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that.
um, one of my great memories of my mom is just I think it's a culmination of a lot of things together at the same time. But just the fact that she's always been dedicated at trying to get us to be more diverse and get to know different cultures. And like all her friends were always like, they weren't all Black. So I was privy to a lot of different kinds of music, a lot of
Mm,
different cultures and food and stuff like that. So that's one thing I really praise my mom about, is making sure that we weren't like just in a box when it came to how like basically helping us become more well-rounded, I guess you can say. So, but also my mom, she is very famous for casseroles.
Oh,
So you want
yes.
her to cook anything, she's going to make you a casserole. And her famous, I would say, is the green bean casserole that sometimes
mm.
doesn't always get ate. But we
Green
love you,
beans are
mom,
tricky, man.
and we love the green bean casserole. It's actually gotten better over the years. I mean, the more and more she tweaks on it and adds something different and this, whatever. So I love her for that. She tried. She didn't try to be, some kind of cook that, that she wasn't, but she did what she could, and she did what
Hmm.
she knew how to do. She did what she knew how to do. And because of it, we are all still alive and well. And,
Well,
you know, we still honor her as our mom because of all the sacrifices she made. Because she was a single mom, and she had to work, and she had to take care of us, and she took us to church. And so I honor you today, mom. I honor you for all the sacrifice that you made for me and my sister and my brother, and all the things that you're still doing now as a grandparent. So I love
Mm.
you, mom, and I love you, grandma, for taking me to church. And I was at every church usher function. I was
church,
my grandma,
church
my
usher
grandma was like the
function.
vice president or president of the usher board. So I was at every church function. I was introduced to death because of that. So I was at every
Mm,
funeral.
wow.
I was at all the funerals.
Whew.
So I'm not scared of funerals. But I was at every function at the schools, going to like those male quartet kind of like concerts at the middle schools and the
Mm.
auditorium. I was there at everything. So thank you, Grandma, for putting me in church and giving me that experience, because I mean, without it, I wouldn't be who I am today, because I have a different kind of outlook when it comes to church.
Come on, come on.
So happy Mother's Day to you all. So what about you, D?
Dude, okay, so I was trying to think because I got a whole bunch of different like little stories and stuff. But what I was thinking about is something actually that happened since I was an adult.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so I don't know what got into me. But this was maybe sometime was this last year? This might have been last year,
Hmm.
which is really what makes it um so nuts when I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
Right.
yo, this is crazy. So what happened is my mom had this it was this she works for a company where they do like financial planning and financial education kind of thing. And there was
Hmm.
a workshop that she wanted my wife and I to jump on.
Okay.
And I was, I was busy doing something, and she sent me like a text, jump on this, da 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 da. And then I hadn't responded back to her or anything. So she sent me another text like the next day, the next morning or
Mhm.
something. And it was saying something like, yeah, um, you need to get on this thing. I haven't heard from you or Jawan, and you guys need to do this. So I don't know what was going on in my head, but for some reason, I thought her tone was like, hey, boy, I told you you
Mhm.
need to get on this thing. I haven't heard from you. You need to get on right now. And
Mhm.
so the demon in my mind was like, you are a grown man. Why is she talking to you like that? And why
Mhm.
is she talking to your wife like that? It wasn't quite a Will Jada like, you need to go in for the jugular kind of thing. But I did kind of take it that way. And
Yeah.
so I like I said, I don't know what came over me. I called her and I was like, yo, mom, why are you talking to me like that? Why are you being so disrespectful? Like, what did I do to you? Why are you making me have to do this? I was like went off. And
Mhm.
she was like quiet for a second. And then she was like, I don't know why you took that way. I didn't mean anything like that.
Mhm.
I just thought it was good information and I thought you guys should come on. So I just was checking back in on you to let you
Right.
know. Uh, you know, and then she hung up and I was like, then I came to myself. I came back to myself and I was like, boy, what is your problem? Why in the world are you talking to your mom like that?
Right.
So
Right.
then I called her back and I was like, Mom, I don't know what came over me. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was talking like that, but I wanted to apologize for coming at you crazy like that.
Right.
And then she just nodded. She's like, yeah, that did kind of, you know, catch me off guard and it was kind of hurtful. So thank you for apologizing. And so we finished talking. I hung up. And afterwards, I realized I was like, dude, my mom has amazing control and restraint. Because if my kid, I don't care how old they were, came talking to me crazy like that,
Right.
I'd
Right.
be like, listen, man, I know you think you're an adult, but I will
Right.
fly to Southern California and knock the sense back into you. What is your problem? You know? And so I was like, I just want to say, Mom, thank you for it. That never happened. That was like rare. I mean, since I've been an adult, I haven't never talked to my mom like
Right.
that. So it really was like coming out of left field. So I just want to thank you, Mom, for showing that grace in that moment. It's very indicative. I mean, it's very much representative of who you are all the time. You never had to demonstrate it like that, but
Right.
she always has the grace, she always has the wisdom, and for her to in that moment be able to just like say, you know what, I'm not finna go off on this boy. I don't even know what this is about, but I'm gonna keep the peace and maybe sometime in the future we'll talk about it. But the Lord was like, you better call your mom back right now, boy. And we got it worked out right away. But so for that, I say thank you, God, and thank you, Mom, for just working with me, knowing
Yeah.
that He ain't finished with me yet.
Yeah. She would have been like,
Um,
"Look, I brung you in this world, and I can take you out.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
ain't too old to get on Cross's lap."
Because she definitely has that in her for sure. Like
Right.
I've seen it when my kids lose their mind for a second. She's like, all right,
Mhm.
you guys don't know me as well. Let me just let you know what's good, you know, real quick. So yeah, shout outs to mom for that. Shout outs to mom. Shout out to mom. Yeah. So that's our shout outs, guys. Happy Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's
We love you
Day.
guys. Y'all are the beginning of the goodness of who. Oh, one other shout out to my mom too. She told me, she educated me, she schooled me, um, like 2 days before I got married. And she
Mm.
was like, listen, I don't know what your life was before this, but just remember now that you are married. And so everything you do from this point on, you need to check with your wife. I don't care if it's going out and playing basketball with the homies
Right. Right.
or whatever work thing you got to do, whatever your schedule is, your wife is now your priority. If you had any other friends that were girls and they were your good friends, now they are not your priority. You remember that. And it was actually very helpful early on because I was very much acting just my normal self.
Right.
And then I would remember, oh, you know what? Your mom done told you. She done told you, boy.
Right.
And so, yeah, thank you for that wisdom as well. It's coming through.
Yeah,
coming through.
that's good
You saved
wisdom.
me. You saved me a lot. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Good.
good.
Which actually goes into what we're talking about with communication. So let's get right into it. But y'all make sure you subscribe to this YouTube page so we can build it up.
Yes.
It's brand new. So don't
Right.
let the smooth taste fool you because there's only about 4 subscribers at the moment. But you're going to help that come up as you're watching this, or if you're watching the replay of this or whatever. All right. But yeah, do that. Listen to us on Spotify.
Yes.
Apple, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, and then there's all these other little ones that nobody's ever heard of. But if you like one of those, we're on there too. So just jump in and join on, okay? But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this topic. Unless you got some more shameless plugs.
Nope, not good.
Nope. Okay, we're good. We're good. Please. We are under no disguise that we are small and trying to grow. So we need your help, folks. Okay. All right. Let's get into this topic, man. Marriage ain't for punks, and we're talking about communication. Punk communication.
Punk communication.
Yeah. We're gonna educate you today.
Right. So this book, Marriage Ain't for Punks, is written by Calvin Roberson, who's actually also coined as Pastor Cal from Married at First Sight on Lifetime. So if you watch that, then you've seen them. If not, go check them out. But this is a really good relationship and marriage book, basically teaching you how to have a successful relationship based on your commitment and what you do every day to keep it going. So today we're going to talk about communication. So if you've ever listened to any of our podcasts before, we kind of touched on communication before, but because Pastor Cal is the expert, he gave us a lot of extra tools that are really good for your marriage and your relationship. And if you're not married yet, or if you're not in a relationship, this is still good for you. That way you can go ahead and get prepared for what's coming. You don't want to wait until it comes and then try to figure out how to do it. Why not go ahead and, start now and prepare yourself until, it comes.
Get yourself ready now.
Get yourself ready, right? Get your house in order. Get your house in order. So first, he asks, are you communicating like a punk? So a punk, as you know, is somebody who they retreat, they don't fight, they don't commit, they don't stay. They run away whenever there's any kind of conflict, any kind of confrontation. Basically, they're out of there. They ghost. They're gone. They Speedy Gonzalez on you. They out. So here's some ways for you not to communicate like a punk. So first, you need to know that there are 7. He gave us 7 ways on how you cannot communicate like a punk. There are 7 pathways. So the first one is words. And he said something really good. He said that words are a tool to convey how you feel and expressing your point of view. When the right words can't be found, the result is they do. Hold on, y'all. I just lost my thing. Oh, look at there. Where'd it go? Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
All right. It's okay. So he said that words are a tool to convey how you feel and expressing your point of view. And when the right words can't be found, they result to do other things to get their point across. So when the right words can't be found, the other person or you can result to doing other things to get your point across, like cursing the person out, calling them out of their name, maybe even using physical force in order to convey what you're trying to say. And he says that, but before you do that, before you even speak, before you even talk about the issue, you want to pause before you speak. Okay. He said you want to hear what you're about to say in your head first. And so an analogy that I thought about was when you're at work and your boss and whoever else is saying whatever they want to say to you through the email.
Talking crazy.
It's just like that Kermit the Frog little meme where you're like going real fast and you're just typing up, okay, I'm about to give them a piece of my mind. Before you hit send, You want to go ahead and say, okay, is this beneficial for me? Should I
Mm,
really say this right now, or should I wait? So he said for you to pause before you speak and hear the words in your head first. He said, because your words are meant to build someone up and not to destroy them. So
facts
remember
right there.
that your words are meant to build and not to destroy. Okay?
Now, I have a question on that. So,
Okay.
ha, um, how often did you do that? I'm
I
trying
can
to think for myself. I don't think I ever held back ever.
no.
I don't think
No,
so.
no. I can say that in my first marriage. So if you don't know, I
Mhm.
am divorced, y'all. So D is married and I am divorced. But I have a lot of experience with it, and so I've healed and I learned, and now I can talk to y'all about this stuff. So in the marriage, I did not keep guard over my mouth. It was like whatever I wanted to say, it was like boom, 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 boom. Like you gonna get it. Bang, 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 bang. Here you can
Yeah.
have it. You want it, here you go. So in order to keep the peace in the house, you want to just take a break and just pause and like, okay, wait a minute, before I say something, before I lose all my Jesus, let me go ahead and pause right quick. So because again, you want, the intent is to build and not destroy. Okay. So next is, I'm gonna have to make this bigger. Forget about my face. Okay, so the next one is the tone. So he said that the twin sibling to words is
That's a
tone.
bar right there. That's a
Yes.
bar right there.
Mhm. There
Twin
it is.
sibling.
The twin
Absolutely.
sibling to the twin sibling to words is tone. So your inflection and your intensity of your words are a key factor in how someone receives what you're trying to say to them. So he said for you to find your comfortable tone, and he said also ask your mate, is my tone comfortable for you? Because sometimes you may be talking, and I remember this as a kid, like, don't talk up here, don't talk at the top of your voice, talk down here. So you may want to, get a little quiet, stormy, radio type voice, go, hey, I want to have this conversation with you. You don't want to be like, you don't want to be all loud with
They're
it.
like, wait a
As,
minute, wait
as
a
soon as you
minute.
come loud with it, then they're going to shut down. They're not going to hear nothing you have to say. So
Right.
you want to calm yourself down. You want to come to a comfortable tone, like, just having a conversation with this person. And again, ask your mate, is my tone comfortable for you? Because depending on how your mate grew up, a loud tone can trigger them to a point where they had a confrontation with someone in their family, or how they saw their mom, their dad fight, or how their mom or their dad always talk to each other. So if your tone is off, just like when you're with your child, you go, wait a minute, who you talking to? I say that to my kids all the time. I'm not your friend. I can be friendly with you, but who you talking to? I mean, check your tone. So yes, you want to check your tone, and you don't want to say anything in a sarcastic way.
you know so okay, so this is funny. Just this week, I don't know what's wrong with me this week, but my wife and I were getting, so we in the morning, waking up the kids, getting them ready to go to school,
Right.
getting them out and everything. And my son he was like trying to be on his computer, and we're like, don't get on your computer until absolutely everything is done. Like
Right.
there shouldn't be
Right.
nothing else you had to do. That's the only way you could get on your computer in the
Right.
morning, And so, basically he thought he did everything, and then he was about to get on his computer, and my wife called him back. She was like, hey, get back over here, come in here, sit down, da da da. And he was like, oh, why? I did everything, da da.
Right.
So he's over there sitting, he's kind of mad. And I come up, and I said to her, I was like, is there, and I try to use my calm tone, and I was like, is there anything else, that you would want him to do before he goes out?
Right.
And she was mad, so she wasn't talking, she wasn't saying anything, whatever. So since she didn't say anything, I waited. I was like, okay,
Right.
I know. Let me wait. See if she comes to where she wants to say something. Didn't say anything. So then since she didn't say anything, then I told him, I was like, okay, Sean, you can get up, you can go. And then as soon as I said that, then she starts talking. And then I said to her, I was like, you know, what I in my head, what I was trying to say was, wait, why are you talking now? Like I just asked you and then you didn't say anything. That's why I'm letting him go. Now it looks like I'm bad because I let him go, but you still have more to say. But I didn't get it out like that. And I said, I said, hold on, now I let you talk. And then she was like, let me. I am not your kid. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I did not mean let. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry. Sean, just do whatever she says. I'm out of here. I've already messed up. Yeah. So I shared that because it was funny, but what the question I wanted to ask is, what do you think is more, what is the bigger thing? Is it the tone or is it the words?
I think it's the tone.
Yeah,
because you can say something. Okay. Yeah, I think it's the tone because you can say something and it to, you know, as far as like constructive criticism or whatever, and if you say it in the right way, it can be gosh, I don't know why I just lost the words. It can be received and you know better. Like someone will go, oh, okay, I hear you now. But if your tone is like, you know, just making someone feel inferior or bad, or you know, just like as a matter of fact, and then especially if we about to go to gestures with the head or whatever, then you know it's gonna basically
the rhythmic hand claps.
It's gonna be like whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so that goes into gestures. So you know, communicating like a punk. I mean, you would be pointing your fingers, raising your hands, rolling your eyes, scrunching your face. And he says all of that gives intimidating energy. He even touched on the, I said, don't you do this.
Yeah.
He said all of that just creates negative and intimidating energy. And you do not want to do those things. You do not want to use gestures as a way for you to communicate with your mate, because there will not be any kind of successful communication. Again, the energy that you give out is the energy that you're going to receive back. So if you want that person to actually listen to you, just put your hands to the side, you know, put them in your pockets, you know, have them behind your back.
Sit on them.
Have something in your hand.
Have you do it with your kid. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Have it in your hand as long as it's like, I guess, not a weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, have something in your hand, but you can't use what's in your hand to hit your person.
Yeah.
Throw that.
Make sure it's something soft, like a teddy bear or like a
right.
I don't know, the Bible. Hold your Bible.
I don't know, they might throw that Bible.
Yeah, that's true. You might. Yeah, people might get lethal. There's a sword, a double-edged sword to cut.
Yeah. So you don't want to do that. Another way to communicate is through your eyes. So your eyes can show your level of honesty or deceit. So like I said before, the rolling of the eyes, the raised eyebrows, or looking in another direction. So he says, if you're talking to that person, if the person's talking to you and you're like, ugh. I mean, like, when is this going to be over? Like, just looking down and looking everywhere. You just give them like this little dead stare, like, are you done? Are you done? Are you finished? Is it over? That's how, if you're giving them that, then they're going to want to talk to you. They're not going to receive anything that you're saying. And so in that way, you're communicating like a punk. And he said that a relaxed face and kind eyes shows your mate you are open to receive what is being said. He said, what's in your heart comes out through your eyes. So control the way you're thinking and it will control your emotions. So if you're thinking, okay, negatively, like, oh, I don't want to talk to them, then it's going to be all over your face. Like that song is written all over your face. Hey, you don't
have to say a word. It's right there. Right there.
So if you but if you're like, you know, happy, not like necessarily happy, especially if it's a
don't get like super plastic with it.
Like step or wipe it. No, but you just want to be like, you know, just sitting there looking at them and Okay, I understand. You nodding that you're listening to them, and basically making eye contact. It's very important to make eye contact. I know growing up, my grandma used to always say, "Look at me," or "Look at people," or "Look at people when you're being talked to or when you're being spoken to. You're not supposed to look away because it's a form of disrespect."
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Eye contact, not eye daggers.
right.
Not eye daggers.
Yes, eye
Different.
contact. Right.
Eye contact, please.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next one is written. So a way to communicate also is in writing. So he said vague written communication gives way to the other person overthinking what was read. So we know this now in 2022 in regards to what's written now is our text messages. So that is an example of written communication. So he said we often read through the lens of our experiences and we don't get the true meaning of what your mate is trying to say. So that's in your scenario with your mom. You were reading it based on the lens of an experience. It might not have been her, but whatever you were thinking of or whatever had set you in that type of space at that moment. But sometimes based on our experiences, we can read something that's not even there. And we can project what was done to us by someone else or what happened before we got that text message onto the other person. They have no idea that you were about to clock out and then your boss said, "Hey, can you look at this paper or can you do this right quick?" Or, they have no idea what's going on. So we often misread those things based on our experiences and we do not get the true meaning of what our mate is trying to say. So he said to use written communication to ignite passion into your partner, not to bring about confusion and strife. So whenever you're thinking about when you're texting that person, especially if you know that this should not be a conversation through text messaging, don't text them. Only thing you should text them is, "Hey, let me know when you're free so we can talk, so we can sit down and talk, or we can talk on the phone." So you want to use written communication for the positive and not the negative.
Yeah, don't be texting no 4-paragraph letters.
Yes.
With no tone.
Right.
All in caps.
All
you
in
don't
caps.
know how to change your settings.
Yeah, and don't emoji me a message. I have no idea what those emojis mean. I know when I send, I'm like, okay, what is this? I don't know the half of them. I know this one.
The shrug. Yeah. I know this one.
I know that one. Yeah. So I don't know the other one. So please don't send me a text message full of emojis.
Yeah. Emojis are an art. That's an art, a whole art form.
Right. And you can't confuse what someone is saying through an emoji. Then the other way of communicating is touch. We all know that one, right? So touch is the innate feeling. So you'll have the innate feeling to touch the one you love. So we all have that yearning and that desire to touch the one we love, whether through his hand holding or a hug or a little walk by caress. But he said, but once there is a rift in the marriage or relationship, touch is usually the first thing that goes away.
The first thing
that goes away. And he said that you use touch in a way that draws your mate to you and not in a way that draws your mate away from you, like abuse. So when I can say from my experience that if you shut down, like all of you shuts down. And you don't want to get to a place where your communication is so lacking and it's so bad that you just shut down to the point where you don't even want to touch someone. Because that not touching each other when you're going through your little rifts or disagreements, it's like it just starts down the path of this relationship is about to be over.
Yikes.
Unfortunately. And not to say that it has to be the ending factor. That is not what has to happen. But it starts it, because if you're not being touched and you're used to being touched by your mate, then you're gonna want to go touch somebody else. Hey. You don't want to do that.
Or you touch your mate in the wrong way.
Right. You don't want to do that either. So if you're having a rift or disagreement, do not use your hands to hurt the other person. Don't push them, don't grab them, don't shove them, don't hit them. Okay.
Do you think that you could have an argument, cuddling.
Oh
That's like the opposite. It's like, no, we are committed to this relationship.
no. You know
Ain't
what?
nothing about to break us up.
You know what? That is like I think that's positive forced communication. Like we're gonna lay here and we're gonna hug it out. Like because then because when you're touched, then some of that animosity and resentment or whatever it like kind of goes down.
It does. It really does.
I think it goes down because like say break up to make up. As soon as you're in an argument and you just reach over and touch your mate's hand, if they're like, like what are you touching me for? Or like come on, kissing you on the neck or hitting your butt or whatever. So it can like make you. It can distract you from the anger that you feel. And cause you to like just calm down. So that could be an option. Like, let's go ahead and go huddle. Let's go cuddle.
Yeah, I know. Just like, man, I do not. I'm so angry. I do not want to argue right now because you're going to do that stupid cuddling thing. I'm like, all right, well, that's the only way I'll argue with you.
You want to cuddle or not?
You want to cuddle or no? Come on. That would be funny. I might try that. Well, let me just not get in trouble in the first place. That's probably better. So, but new tactic, everybody. New resource. Try it out.
Right, try it out.
Hopefully you don't get slapped.
Right, exactly. Yeah, don't cuddle facing each other.
Yeah. Spoon style. Do the spoon style. That way you could still get your anger off.
Right.
But maybe it'll be a little bit toned down. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And the other spoon arguments. Yeah.
So the other one is silence. He said, remain silent when your partner is enraged with anger to help facilitate a calm and positive listening space. So intentional silence can ignite unbearable fire. He said, silence can be used as manipulation when your partner wants to talk. And it comes across as disrespectful. Right. So can you speak on that right quick? I gotta go grab my thing.
Dude. Okay. So there's this term that I learned 2 years ago. There's this term that I learned called stonewalling. It is the deliberate withholding of communication. For example, there are some things like they're called like soft offerings, right? So say for example, your husband, wife, your partner steps into the room and you say something like, man, it's cold outside. That's what's called a soft offering, right? Right. So they have the choice at that moment to be like, oh, is it? What's this, how cold is it? Or what's the temperature right now? Or they could just completely ignore it. Yeah. And that might be the tester filler. So that's like the low level. But then when you get into the space where you're trying to communicate and it's a heated discussion or full-on argument, right? Somebody can, as he was pointing out, use silence as like a punishment, as a control, like when somebody, your partner is pouring their heart out to you about how they feel about this thing, and even if you look at them with the deadpan or whatever, then they're like, "Are you gonna say anything?" Right. And you just don't. Or you hit them with the one word like, "Nah, I'm cool. You just talk, say whatever you want." Right. Punishment. Yeah. That's the negative use of silence. Right. Yeah.
And it just takes you back to like someone who's a child, like acting like a child, and it just you're like, okay, did I marry an adult, or am I in a relationship with an adult or a child? Because sometimes that silence, not sometimes, all the time, silence, it just it takes on a thing where he said like it's like the other person feels like they can use it as a controlling situation, like to make you feel inferior. And if I have the control, and if I'm using silence to control you, then am I in it to love you? Because then if I'm trying to control you, then do I really love you? Do I really see who you are? Am I valuing who you are in this relationship? Do I respect you as an adult? So yeah, silence is not golden. Only in the movie theater.
Right. So, and only depending on which neighborhood you're in.
Oh yes.
Yeah, silence ain't golden in a communication scenario.
Absolutely not.
Right,
No.
right, right.
So he said those 7 pathways lead to a destination, and that destination is to effectively understand and to be understood. He
Mm,
said you want to have a safe landing place to express one's heart. So is your mate a safe landing place?
oh, yeah,
is,
yeah,
is
yeah.
your mate a safe landing place to express your heart? Or are you a safe landing place for your mate to express their heart?
hmm
Communication doesn't just happen. You have to study your partner to learn the best way to communicate with them. So just keep that in your head, y'all. It's your words, check your words, your
Check them.
tone, your gestures, your eyes, your written communication, your touch. Are you withholding your touch? And are you remaining silent? Those are the things you want to check just to make sure that you are effectively communicating with your mate.
And
Okay.
most of that is nonverbal, y'all.
Yes, it
Most
is.
of it is nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I would say even about the words is something that has helped me before
Mm-hmm.
is because I'm at a certain level with the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
it will kind of like be a little bit of a dam for my words. But like take a second, like even tell your partner, like literally tell them, just be like, yo, just give me 1 second here. I'm
Right.
trying to think about
Right.
how to say this, and
Right.
literally think about it, because that has helped me before. I'm like, okay, what about what has been done is bothering me? Because if you can
Right.
pinpoint something and
Mm-hmm.
then articulate that, that actually will progress the conversation. Instead of it going circular and everybody just trying to prove their point, you get to
Right.
a point where you're like, okay, I didn't see it like that. That's
Right.
interesting. Now I can ask a question, or now, if they're willing to actually be working on the thing, they'll be listening to what you said, and your argument turns into a constructive discourse now. So
Exactly.
take time to do that. Like don't rush. Don't rush. Yeah, take it slow. Just like when you're making love and you take it slow. When you arguing, take it slow.
Take it slow.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
it slow.
It's all gonna end up in the same good place.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So he also, with communication, Pastor Cal says that the next topic was punks always speak their mind. So
Mm,
we talked about this a little bit earlier, that people who don't know how to communicate well with each other, they always want to speak their mind. And he says the myth is in a relationship that you can speak your mind without a filter. So you feel like, okay, I'm with this person, I should be able to tell them, everything. But sometimes you have to put a filter on what you're trying to say to that person. So
right.
you can't say whatever that comes to your mind. And if it's going to hurt them and it's going to take them back, instead of having them continue to remain present in the conversation, then you cannot just speak your mind. You can't just go in and speak your mind. And I think that the same respect that you give other people outside your home, hopefully you do, is the same respect you need to give to your mate who is in your home. Or if y'all in a relationship, y'all don't live together, but still in the relationship space. So if I'm
Mm,
not going to just mouth off to anybody at my job because I want to keep my job, I shouldn't want to mouth off anything to my mate because I want to keep the relationship. And so I think it's the same exact thing.
did
So
you ever see there was this, it's a couple of years ago now, but it's still on the internet. It was this conversation with James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni.
I think so. A
Oh
long time
man,
ago, yeah.
there was a whole section in there where they were talking about almost this exact thing. It was in a
Oh,
different context, but like James Baldwin was talking about, like, a man, when he's at work, he has to take all this nonsense, all this BS from his
right,
boss.
right,
And
right,
especially a black man at that
right,
time period, it was even worse.
right,
And so he has to bottle that all in. He's got to kind of like soft shoe and, yes, sir, all that. So when he comes home, you know, he's tired. He's tired. He's
right,
exhausted from lying all day. And
right,
so he releases on his family. And her rebuttal was pretty dope. She was like, well, if you're gonna lie to him, then when you come home, lie to me. she was like, if that's how you gotta operate, then you better lie to me too. Now, I'm sure that presents its own issues,
Right.
but it does speak to the idea of at least respect us as much as you would a common stranger.
Right.
You know, when you're coming into the home. So, yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. Probably like not trying to I think it's how you go about it. So if your mate, your partner is like, okay, yeah, you can tell me whatever's going on and how you feel, or it's like it's all about like taste, like class, like how you do it, like how are you going to speak to me? How are you going to give me a piece of your mind without giving me a piece of your mind? Does that make sense? Like where I don't feel like I'm being told off.
Let me tell you. Okay, so here, let me tell you, I want to know what you think about this. So this happened it's long ago, so I think it's fine. But early on, when I was married, when we first got married, we were living in Korea, and you know how people who can speak a different language, there are these certain points in times where they start speaking just their language. It's not necessarily like it's secretive or anything. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's easier for them to talk, whatever.
Right.
But sometimes it is like getting kind of, secretive. So I remember my wife and I, we went out with my friend and his wife. He was also non-Korean, a dude, Australian dude, and his wife was Korean. And so we went out, and there's inside jokes, that my wife and I have with each other. And so, like, if you're looking from the outside, you might be like, "Ooh, that's kind of disrespectful. Y'all are going kind of hard," But we both know that we're just joking around.
Right.
However, when we were out this one time, we're joking around, whatever, like that. And I'm talking to my friend, and then the girl, my friend's wife, says to my wife in Korean, like, "Yo, you let him talk to you like that?" Blah, 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 whatever. They kind of had their little stuff. Yep, I see how you, the eyes. And then my wife said to me, she says, "Hey," she said, "Are you going to talk? Or am I going to let you talk to me like that?" But this is like in the public now with all four of us.
Right.
And so I was like, in my mind, I was like, now, this is a joke. Why are you even bringing this up?
Right.
So, but I said, okay, we're in the public sphere. I'm a young, immature young man here. And so when she says that, and I looked at her and I said, well, that it's a joke. That we joke around like this. So you should tell her that we're joking around. I shouldn't have to explain that to her. But I said that in public to everybody, to her, and so I was like, you knew it was a joke. I'm looking at her, I'm like, you knew it was a joke, right? So you should have told her it was a joke. And she's kind of looking at me like, oh my God, why are you like doing this to me right here in front of these people? And my thought was, well, why were you doing this to me in front of these people? You could handle that. I mean, like, it was in Korean, so it could have totally been just them two talking about it. She could have knocked it out, blah, 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 blah. But here's my question, because I did apologize later. I was like, you know what, man, even if I did feel that way, I don't want to be disrespecting you in public with them. I'd rather would have waited till we would have got back to the crib, and then I could be like, that little situation. Let's talk about that. But what would you think? What would you think? You think like if you were in that situation, how would you have handled something in that realm? Like, would you deal with it at the spot, or would you be like say if you were her, how would you deal with it? Or if you were me, how would you deal with it?
Okay, if I was her, I would check my friend. Because it's, to me, I think it's, I would maybe disrespectful, maybe a really heavy word, but I think it's disrespectful to talk about the relationship in another language. If you're gonna have to talk in another language because that's just your primary language, then talk about something else. but
Mm-hmm.
don't have it's because then when you're talking about someone else's relationship, then it's kind of secretive,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would have been like, no, I would have corrected her, or I would have made her aware, or to know that he doesn't disrespect me like this. Like this, he's not disrespecting me. He's fine. I'm good. We're good. Like I don't need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can understand from the friend's point of view. Like she may have thought that you were,
Like
disrespecting
I
her.
was stepping out of line by
Right,
like doing
right,
it publicly. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. But yeah, she just had to, let her know, no, this is good.
You need to mind her own business. That's what she needs to do. Yeah.
But if I was you, I would not have said anything until you left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's always hindsight 2020.
2020, boy.
Because when you're in the moment, sometimes if you don't check your emotions, like we said earlier, you take a pause and a break and go through your head and say, okay, is this going to be beneficial to me?
Right, right.
If I say this. So, take a step back and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't say nothing right now. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, you do, because,
Yeah.
we're human and you make mistakes, and you might just like, I want to say this right now. Like you feel like you got to say it. But sometimes everything doesn't have to be said right there in the moment, because then it gives you opportunity to think about it more from their point of view. And once you talk about it with them behind, closed doors, then you can get, what was said and why they didn't say what you thought they would say, have said.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
that I would have done this or you should have done this. But again, we're two individuals. And just because you would have played it out one way does not mean that I would have played it out one way. So it's all about, perspective and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's good.
Stay quiet in the streets. Talk about it in the sheets.
So that's a good one. Look at you, Snoop.
Yeah, you know. Every now and then I got one, Joel, for you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So he said another myth was, okay, we were just talking about this a little bit, that everything must flow naturally. So he says that you think that once you get married, or once you're in a really committed relationship, that everything's supposed to just flow. Like my partner's supposed to know everything about me, and we're in this oasis in utopia. He's like, no. He said it takes intentional actions to get into a. Well, I said that my interpretation of what he said was that it takes intentional actions to get into a groove or a natural flow. So you have to be intentional about getting to know your partner so that y'all can then have this natural flow. It doesn't just change overnight. If he didn't know that you like blue bonnets on your head at night instead of black lines, he's not gonna know. He's not gonna know. If he doesn't know, no, this one is a better one, a better analogy. If he didn't know that you rather have tampons,
them pads
instead of pads, why do you think now he's supposed to know because y'all married? He's not paying attention to any of that.
Right.
Just because y'all may share the same bathroom and the same sanitary closet, he does not know any of that. He is not paying attention to you, girl, until you say, hey, can you go and get me something? He's okay, which one? And then your response is, what do you mean which one? The ones that's in the closet. He don't know. He going into the closet to get his washcloth, his towel, his beard stuff, or whatever it is for himself. He ain't thinking about that. Not to say that he don't care about you, but that's not important to him at the time.
Right.
So it's those kind of things where you're letting your partner get to know you the same way you're getting to know your partner. And then that's how, the more that you're around each other and the more that you become in sync, and then that's how it becomes a natural flow.
Right.
So you should not, he said, you shouldn't just say, well, you're supposed to know me, because they're not. And he made a really key point later on in the chapter where he said that we're changing every day. He said, we're changing every moment. One moment I might like Chick-fil-A, and the next moment I won't Taco Bell. It's just, we change moment to moment. So just like you change as an individual, so is your partner. And because of that, you can't just automatically think they're going to always know what you want and how you want it. He said, how you present your thoughts and ideas is critical as to whether the hearer, your partner, will accept them. So how do you present it to them? And he said 3 great ways of knowing how to do this is your approach. And so for the sake of time, I won't go through them in detail. So make sure you go get the book. But
Yeah. Unofficial selling, unless you want to
right,
sponsor us, man. We'll
right,
do it. We'll
right.
promote
So
it hard for you.
yeah, so go get the book, Mary Jane for Punks. And this is chapter 3, 3 and 4. What are we doing? 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, this is 3 and 4.
Yeah,
3 and
yeah,
4.
yeah. So he said the 3 approaches talking to a person is talking at them, basically like they're a child. That's an example. Talking to them like you're talking to a stranger, like just general, maybe informational, maybe instructional, like just telling them stuff. And then there's talking with them. And that is you're feeling your mate. You understand what they're saying. There's a mutual understanding between the two of y'all. And also you respect when your partner is being serious or when they're being lighthearted. So if you're always joking around with each other and then your partner comes to you and they really want to have a conversation that's serious, that is not the time for you to be sarcastic. So it is time
That's
for you
so funny.
right. It's not a time for you to go,
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Right.
Sorry.
So that may be your thing to be sarcastic with each other, but you have to basically read the room. You need to read what's going on with your partner and say, okay, I'm going to sit here and talk with them. I'm going to feel what they're feeling. It's just like when we talked about when your partner comes home from work or wherever and they want to talk to you about what's going on. It's like sitting down with them and being empathetic to what their situation is and not talking to them like just, spatting off just instructions like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. Because, we ladies, we do that a lot. We like to give our mate a little honey to-do list. And so they can check it off all day. Hey, I need to do this, do this, do this. And he's like, okay, when are we going to talk with each other? Like have a conversation that actually goes back and forth in a positive way. And you definitely don't want to talk at your person, which is just straight like you're a child. You don't want to do that. And he said examples of that was like when you were growing up, you will always be spoken to by an adult when they would say, oh, speak when spoken to, or shut up or I'll beat you, or children are not to be seen or heard. Those are like negative talks. And you don't want your partner to feel like that. Because if they heard that, then when you're talking to them like a child, you may not say any of those phrases I just said, but that's all they're going to hear.
Right.
You're talking to me like a child. Okay.
And that's that's a shutdown, just immediate shutdown.
Right. So he says, ask sincere questions so that they'll know that you are talking with them and not at them or to them. He said to remember that communication takes thought and work. You got to think about it. It's not something that just automatically happens. You got to think about it and you got to work on it every day. And if it doesn't work, say that you had one disagreement and it didn't go the way you wanted to, it doesn't mean that you give up and you throw in the towel. Is you recognize what went wrong, you fix it, and then you keep on moving. So the next time,
keep on moving, don't stop, no.
Keep on moving. Hey, that's Soul to Soul, right?
Yeah. Soul to Soul. Come on now.
Adult ADDs. Don't you do that to me with music, because I will. Sorry. All right. I will go there with music. Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to the program. So he said that punks don't like to argue. Okay. He said arguing is not the problem. So when you get in an argument, he says the argument is not the problem. He said an argument basically shows you that a conflict needs to be resolved. So something is going on here that needs to be resolved. And the way to successfully argue with someone, you need to remember how you view that person. Do you have high regard for the other person? And if you do, then the way you argue with them is not going to be in a way where you are doing this. You're not flying off at the handle. It's never advisable for you to just fly out and let the words just come out your mouth and say whatever you want to say. He said, you must be balanced between fully expressing your opinion and maintaining respect for your partner. So you can fully express your opinion without being disrespectful.
It's possible, yes.
That is possible. You can do it.
you can do it, guys. Come on.
Yeah. He said that when you get into an argument, don't try to run away. I know a lot of people like to hide from conflict. So whenever something is really going on, they don't want to address it because they think that, okay, if we're arguing, that means that our relationship is not good. That's not the truth. He said the argument is very beneficial to the relationship. He said, because your differences of opinions gives way to an opportunity for you to learn to grow and increase understanding about each other.
Yeah.
So that is good. If you have an argument, okay, let's talk this out. Why do we both feel this way? It doesn't mean that your relationship is over. People have disagreements. It's life. You're not always going to be on one accord all the time.
Yeah, get away from the fantasy, man.
That's right. He said it's okay to let your kids see you argue, but he said, but with respect and poise, meaning they shouldn't see you flying out the handle. I know you're not. They shouldn't see you doing any of that. They shouldn't see
you.
Right. Slamming doors, throwing things, leaving, coming back upset, grabbing the alcohol. Nothing wrong with drinking, but when you're using it to, basically numb yourself or whatever, using it to, to get away from the problem.
Any escapism, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Thank you for the word, because I don't know where it's the end of the day for me in the East Coast. So all of my brain is gone. But so he said it's okay to do that. And I know a lot of parents like to shy away from letting their kids see them argue, but they need to see it. That way, when they grow up as an adult, they will know how to argue with respect and poise. Yeah. He says growth and change in the marriage or the relationship is not the problem. You want to notify each other when you have changed. So I said this before about that we're going to change moment to moment. He says when you have changed the taste of food you like, the clothes you wear, the hobbies you used to like, the way you like to have sex with each other, your political and faith views, thoughts of your spouse, these things will change. And when they change, you need to let your partner know, hey, I don't even like shrimp no more. I used to, but now I only want to eat salmon. Or I don't even want to eat meat no more. I'm just going to go vegan. Or so you just let them know, I don't even like these clothes no more. I don't like to go to the skating rink no more. I don't like to play basketball anymore. I don't like missionary anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just spice it up a little bit, I don't want to go to church every Sunday anymore. I mean, things I don't want, I don't like how you don't listen to me anymore, So whenever there is a change in your way of thinking and the way that you've normally done things, you want to let your partner know so that it won't catch them off guard, Yeah. Especially like now, whenever people give you gifts, if you let them know, hey, look, I used to like Bath and Body Works, but now I don't. Like, let them know. So that way he won't go to the Bath and Body Works and get you something that you didn't want. So let them know, because then it will save time and money and a lot of arguing.
Yeah. Because I'll be so mad if I spent my money.
Right. Like that man.
And then you don't like it. Yeah. Well, like the Chanel purses and all. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
if you don't
man,
like them no more, let them know. Yeah. So he said the communication is a time to reveal who you are and who you are becoming. So this is who I am today, but I may be different tomorrow. And that does not mean that you have to become, that you have the right to just become a whole nother person. That's not what he's saying. He's just saying like those little things that, your partner grew to know about you. If they've changed, let them know. So they don't have to try to figure it out on their own, because ain't nobody got time for that, to be trying to sit here and list everything. Okay, they don't like this today. Okay. They have other things you got to think about too, besides everything that you don't and like today. Okay.
Yeah.
So how you grow together
that sounds
is important.
Yeah.
Right. So work together to find your similarities. Remember that your sharp differences, like things that you are totally different on, can cause a conflict, but you can work through those rough patches and basically agree to disagree, that it's not that big of a deal. Respect your mate's intellect and their ability to be different from you, and love them because of it. So you may not think the same way that your partner does, and you want to love them. Approach the problems quickly and resolve them quickly. Do not let them just sit and marinate in resentment and anger, because when they do, they're going to explode, basically. He says that it takes 10 minutes of preemptive discussion about an issue that can save you 10 days of unnecessary tension and conflict.
Ooh.
So you just take 10 minutes to say, hey, I noticed this about you, or this is how you make me feel, or whatever. Right quick, go ahead and do it right away. That way you can go ahead and let the discussion go ahead and start. You don't have to have the whole discussion right there, but you can go ahead and take 10 minutes to go ahead and figure something out. You want to deal with your destructive emotions like pride. Pride. He said pride then leads to arrogance and stubbornness, which then leads to being angry and resentful. And anger can not only have an effect on your relationship, it also has an effect on your physical body. You end up having a heart attack because of all this. Yep, because of all this built up anger. So you don't want that either. Then he says how to fight fair. You argue with positivity and purpose. There's a purpose in why we are having this disagreement, right? So we want to resolve the issue. We don't want to have this conversation for it just to continue. There should be a purpose. We're going to resolve this issue. You want to create boundaries when you're having a disagreement, meaning you don't want to hit below the belt. You don't want to try to bring up something that happened 10 years ago.
Old stuff. Don't be bringing up old stuff.
Don't be bringing up old stuff. Absolutely. You want to create boundaries. Like, hey, we're not going to bring up no old stuff. We're going to focus on what we're talking about right now.
Right.
And then know that winning is not the goal. It's not the goal of the conversation or the disagreement for you to prove that you're right. The goal is to resolve the issue and recognize what the goal is. He said, be genuine about it. And he said something really important. He said to externalize a problem. So the issue is not the person. The issue is the issue. So if you realize that, okay, he said, detach the issue away from your partner. And so the issue is the one that's the enemy that's attacking your relationship, not your partner. So your mate is not your enemy. It's the issue. So once you remove it from your partner, then you're not looking at them as the problem. Okay. It's just a problem has started or has come about because of something that they may have done, but it's not them that's a problem. And
it can be fixed. Their behavior can be fixed. There could be adjustments.
Exactly. Absolutely. He says to give grace for someone to be wrong. You don't have to be right, and you don't have to prove that they're wrong. You don't have to prove that you're right, and you don't have to prove that they're wrong. Because sometimes people will just figure out on their own. They will figure out that they are wrong and how you handle it. So if you go, okay, I know they're wrong, but let me go ahead and just not say nothing, let them figure it out. And then next thing you know, you'll get, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. And that's because you gave it grace and you didn't just go ahead and fly off the handle to try to prove that you were right.
Right.
And so again, marriage is more, I don't have a quote today, but he said that something that's really important that you remember is marriage is more important than the problem. Your relationship is more important than the problem. So that is the common goal that you all should have together, is that your marriage is important. You don't want your marriage to dissolve because of something that can be worked on. And I'm going to say this, if you're not able to work it out with each other, go get a mediator, go get a therapist who does not know who you are. They don't know your background. So they'll be able to help facilitate y'all to be able to talk to each other and communicate and resolve the issue. Don't go to your mama. Don't go to your daddy. Don't go to your sister. Don't go to your brother. Don't go to your cousin. Don't go to your friend. Go to a therapist to get help, or a trusting confidant who you know will actually give, the right wisdom on it. Because sometimes you'll have friends who, if you have a friend who will check you, then that's the friend you want to go to. If that is who you both mutually agree upon. So you can't say, well, I want to go talk to Stacy. And he's like, no, I don't want to talk to Stacy. And then you still go talk to Stacy anyway. It has to be somebody y'all both mutually agree upon. And it can also be somebody at your church, someone on the counseling staff, But again, you want it to be somebody who's going to actually help the relationship,
Yeah.
and not hinder it. And that is all I have for you today.
Dude, I got one verse that I thought, oh, I've heard this all my life, but this is perfect for this. All right. It's Psalm 19:14. Very well
Awesome.
known. It says,
Very well
let
known.
the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight,
Yes.
O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. That,
Mhm.
for me, will kick it up to the next level because you already want to respect and love your partner.
Right.
But now if you're adding into it, okay, God, do you actually approve of this communication? Is this
Right.
the way that I'm communicating? Is it not only honoring your child, but also you? Is it me representing you well? Like that's a whole another level of evaluation and checks and balances that we're putting on ourselves. So if we're
Right.
doing that, if we're putting in that work and that effort, it's probably going to be very exhausting at the beginning.
Yeah.
But as it becomes more of our second nature, then it's natural. Then it starts to flow from us, and then it because that's what it goes. That's how you grow and you develop. You practice things that are
Right.
hard at first, and then they become more part of your being. So
Yeah.
yeah. That's just a little extra motivation to communicate anti-punk like. Yeah.
Don't be a punk.
Don't be a
Punks show
punk,
up
y'all.
down.
They do, and they do get beat down when they jump up. Let that be said and let it be known. All right.
Yes.
So y'all please subscribe
Yes.
to this page because it's new.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever else we need you to jump on, just jump on. Okay. So we
Subscribe,
can build
like,
out. Yeah.
share, comment,
Like, share,
subscribe, like,
yeah.
share,
If
comment.
you
Yeah.
listen on what is it, Apples and all them, give us the
Podcast.
5-star
5 stars.
ratings. Either we've decided we're always gonna put 5-star because either it's currently true or you're being prophetic. So just let it be, okay? Just let it be.
You're being gracious with your stars.
That's right. Be gracious with the stars, right? Be lavish with the stars.
Yes.
Just let it shower down. All right.
It's no harm. It's no harm.
Yeah, think about it as the stars that's gonna go into your crown in glory one day. Right. Okay, sorry, Lord. Don't strike me. Don't strike me down. Yeah. But anyway, we love you guys.
Thank you. God bless.
Yeah. God bless. And that's the way.
That's the way love goes.
Love goes. We're gonna get that down. One day we're gonna get that right. Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.